This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the sports betting network. Mitch Moss, Paulie Howard with you live downtown Las Vegas. Circa Resort and Casino is the spot. Big Friday edition lined up here today. Really strong guests as always. Steve Wiss, best bets in soccer coming up in an hour. Adam Hill to react to the Raiders draft. Was it Genty all along? And Dennis Bernstein later on the ever-increasing dramatics that we've had in the NHL playoffs, by the way. Some of the stuff is awesome in that sport. We'll begin by recapping what took place in the draft, and we'll update you on current numbers as they keep changing for the 33rd pick tonight overall and the team to select Shaddur Sanders, who, of course, did not go last night. People who, there's a chart, Paulie, to grade trades and how much was given up in a deal. And if you assume that the pick next year that the Browns will get from Jacksonville will be in the middle of the first round, the Browns blew away Jacksonville with the trade in terms of value overall for the picks that they're going to be getting in return.
Yeah, I didn't like it, though. I stick and I stay and I make the pick.
You keep Hunter.
Yes. Factory of sadness. Haven't had a deep playoff run since the mid-'80s. Everyone's excited. Here we go. We're going to take this guy, game changer. Like Rizzo told us last week, Hunter's got to be the guy. I take the guy. So now it's the waiting game, and now we'll see what you do and who the quarterback's going to be and what the other decision's going to be and what you do with the other picks as well. And But kudos to Jacksonville, too, though. You love somebody,
sure.
Their attitude
you go make
is,
it happen.
I don't care about the picks. Bleep them.
Now, here's the thing.
We think we have a game changer, and this is going to do wonders for our fan base as well, and we're going to get Hunter.
I mean, it's very easy to fall in love with the potential of Travis Hunter at the NFL level. I don't know if I can trust Jacksonville to make it work, though. I'm sorry, their history, and it's a new coach all the time and just new regime, and maybe this is going to be the right guy to come in and take over and say, no, I got a game plan here, and we're going to make Hunter work on both sides of the ball because you have to utilize. You're not going to take him just to play him at corner, and you're not going to take him at number 2 and trade up like that just to play a wide receiver. You're going to play him both ways. You have to. Otherwise, you're not going to make that deal.
Wow, that started off with a bang, though, too. I mean, that's incredible. I think, whoop, on the clock, here we go. We got to trade. Pick number 2. That's nuts.
We're out watching the draft last night and the games at Stadium Swim. I turned my head for a second. I'm like, wait a second. The pick is in, and they traded up to do it? What did I miss? Mm-hmm. Came out of nowhere.
Yes. So that's a shocker, and that your drafts, your bets, a lot of everything goes up in smoke as a result, because then you have Graham going 5th, and all of a sudden, wow, all the Genty stuff was wrong, and Genty falls into the lap of the Raiders at 6. While I would stay and take Hunter if I'm Cleveland, I'll tell you, Ward better be a star. You better be an all-pro, and he better lead him to the playoffs, because you touched on this earlier in the week. If you're Tennessee and you're going to stay and turn down the 3rd pick, the 2026 first-round pick from the Giants, and 2 other picks, the Giants were willing to give that up to move up 2 spots.
Yep.
2 spots, and they said no.
Yeah, if I'm Tennessee, I don't even know if I hesitate. I absolutely take that deal.
That's a snap call.
I mean, you have to think that Cam Ward is going to come in and forget Pro Bowler. He's going to have to be a borderline Hall of Famer.
To say no to that?
Right,
yes.
because again, think about this. The Giants have a chance to be the worst team in the NFL or right there again next year. All right? So there's a chance where they could get the number 1 pick in the draft next year. Speaking of Tennessee, because the Giants might be picking number 1 overall. They could be that bad. And if that's the case, again, there's that scenario where Arch Manning, is he going to come out? Some people say that he won't. He's going to stay in Texas. He loves it, and he's going to get tons of NIL money. And if that happens, so be it. But you can control the draft again next year if you would like. And they said no to that? I couldn't believe it when that report came out. Adam Schefter had it. I'm like, Paul, are you seeing the details here? And they said no to that? They got to be out of their minds.
Yeah.
And by the way, Cam Ward last December, 7-1 to go number 1 overall. And he turned into minus 50,000 last night.
Yeah.
Foregone conclusion. And Shaddur Sanders was minus 250 months ago.
This I can't explain. The real story and the truth has to come out. And when's it going to? Because you're right. In December, he's minus 250 to go number 1 overall. And then even January, February, he's going to go 1, 2, or 3. Is it going to be Ward? Is it going to be Sanders? What happens? And then going back to December and January, Raiders fans, please lose so we can get this guy and he can be our quarterback.
Right.
And then $2,500. You got to risk $2,500 to win 100 that he would go in the first round. I'm not saying he's got to go number 1, number 2, or number 3, but then he doesn't even go in the first round. So then also the timing, and a lot of people who work at NFL Network and ESPN said that's ridiculous, put your name on it, all this anonymous report and these sources, quote, the worst formal interview I've ever seen in my life, entitled, never plays on time, horrible body language, blames teammates, not that good. Mm-hmm. And then now it's, where's he going to go? And I don't think Cleveland takes him. I don't think the Raiders, there's got to be something going on here. More to the story, how the guy can't even go in the first round.
Right. Okay, I get all the off-the-field stuff that you said, and also like the blaming the teammates that is on the field.
Yes.
But he's not that good? Are we sure about that?
I don't think that's fair, right?
I don't think that's fair at all.
Yeah.
But if you didn't have a first-round grade on him, that's fine. But to sit here and say that the kid can't play and he's no good, now you're being a little too opinionated with that. I think that's completely over the top. He's a good football player, and he's a solid quarterback. The other stuff, fine. I have no retort to that. If that's all true, then it is what it is.
Well, is it with the problems with the dad, or what? I don't want to be in the Sanders business. I don't know. I mean, a guy I trust who's told me 10 minutes notice, bam, here comes the trade. Here, get ready for it. They're going to trade and take Dart. I mean, I heard also that Sanders called the Giants and said, you better take me at 3 or don't bother taking me. Well, and then word got out through around the league and just say, this guy's going to be a headache and a problem. But do with that what you want, too. So this is just, it's absolutely bizarre that you see. I don't know when he's going to go. Milroe could go before this guy.
I would not be surprised, no. We'll play you a piece of audio coming up here from Adam Schefter in a second from earlier today on NFL Live. Pretty strong on Shaddur Sanders. Before that, the odds for the 33rd pick tonight, they keep changing. Earlier today, Travion Henderson was 10-1. Our producer Luke made the drive to Arizona to bet it. By the time he was able to get it, he got 5-1. Henderson is now plus 105. And before the show started, Shaddur Sanders he moved back to a minus 125 favorite. He's now around pick'em to go 33rd overall. This keeps changing. Also, the Browns just moved to minus 130 to take the guy overall. But if they don't take him there tonight to begin the second round of the draft, the Raiders are plus 105. The Saints are 7-1. The Saints aren't taking him. And the Steelers are now 10-1. I have a ticket on. I'd like to win this because I lost a lot of bets last night. I had 2 that saved me a little bit, but not enough. I have the Steelers at 5-1 to take him. But I think I'm going to need a slide. Maybe this is what's going to have to happen. Here's Adam Schefter not that long ago today on NFL Live on ESPN.
Tyler Shuck is going to figure in there tonight, and I won't be surprised if Tyler Shuck goes ahead of Shaddur Sanders tonight. Can you imagine if Jackson Dart and Tyler Shuck both wind up being drafted ahead of Shaddur Sanders? I think there are not a lot of teams that love the idea of drafting Shaddur, and I think now we're at the point where unless he goes in the 3rd round, number 83, to the Pittsburgh Steelers, who had a discussion about him on the board at number 21, I think we may get a team that we never connected to him.
That is nuts.
Yeah, it is. What do you think? Can you expand? Give me the reasons. Why don't you want to be in the Sanders business? Mm-hmm. Is this anonymous source onto something? How much of it is true? He's supposed to go top 5. He's supposed to be a guaranteed top 10 pick.
Right.
He doesn't even go. He might go in the 80s. I don't think the Browns take him. I've been told the Raiders aren't taking him. I mean, now you're getting in the 50s, 60s, 70s here. Milroe and Shuck could go ahead of the guy. What is going on?
Well, evidently, and again, we were at Stadium Swim last night thanks to Dr. John for renting out the cabana. It was a great time as always. What a spot to watch events out here at Circle Las Vegas. They did not have the audio on, and evidently that was a good thing. And for those of you in the audience right now, you can always email the show, ftm@vsin.com, and we're on X as well, at VSiN Live, at Mitch Moss Radio, at Paulie Howard. My timeline today on X was littered with people saying that the complaining on the ESPN broadcast, specifically from Mel Kiper, was that's all the broadcast was. Mm-hmm. So maybe it was a good thing that we did not have the audio on last night.
Okay.
Because you cannot have that dominate the entire thing. If the guy slides, fine, but he can't take over the entire draft.
Yeah, there's too much going on.
It's more than just him involved here, obviously.
Yeah, it goes back to with Aaron Rodgers in the green room. Kept showing him. It's like Brady Quinn, whoever it may be, yeah.
So the Steelers at 83? Can we get an updated draft position on him, by the way? That's nuts. That's
another good one. Yes, I know. 14.5 over minus $5. What eventually went off at once you're talking about 8.5, the 14.5, and
wasn't there a book that moved him to 21.5 because the thought was right there, it's Pittsburgh or nobody in the first round?
Yeah, that happened too.
Because
I'll tell you, and I know a lot of books don't take a lot of action on this with him, but I think the dart landing spot could have been a disaster. Because he went from 21.5 to 25.5 back to 24, 24.5, and then that's where the trade happened.
Right. Oh, jeez.
So imagine everyone could have won on that prop.
Right. I will give you this today, too, if you can find it. Well, the odds have completely shifted. This is nuts. To go 34th overall, I was tipped off today that it's going to be this wide receiver Higgins. Earlier today, he was 23-1, and I couldn't find it anywhere. But some offshore books had it. Now, the last I saw it was minus 190.
Oh, wow.
Higgins to go 34 overall.
Okay.
That's pretty strong.
That is. But it goes back to what Doug Kazarian said with us earlier in the week, though. Why put this up, book it, and you just some people who just love to chase steam.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, this appears to be solid info and can get there, but a lot of the stuff was wrong. And one trade can blow it up, and the Bears-Genty thing never happened.
I'll give you one where books should have cleaned house yesterday. It should have been Banks to the Raiders. Everybody mocked him there. All the key insiders mocked him there.
Tweets,
in 24 hours leading up to that. Pete Carroll, the giveaways. Oh, they're going to go Banks.
Right. Yeah, but if there's a trade, we didn't expect him to be here. Oh, we got to take him.
And then his odds completely shifted throughout the entire day, and he went off his odds on.
Yes, unlock your winning edge with a great offer, full VSiN Pro access. Everything we do through August 1st, just $59, half off the regular monthly price. The daily email recapping all the best bets from hosts and guests. Bill 80's on it every morning. The betting splits from DraftKings and Circa. Every sport, every edge, one low price. August 1st, $59. VSiN.com/subscribe. What a deal.
One draft pundit expects to see a run on this position earlier tonight. File that away for gambling purposes, and odds are already out for Rookie of the Year.
Time. There's nothing more valuable. It's what drives everyone to make the most of every moment. We celebrate living large in the now. In a city where time disappears, we create experiences that electrify the soul and memories that will last forever. We go big, we go all night, and here, everyone is invited. So get loose and get loud.
This is Circa. You'll have the time of your life.
So, Paulie, have you had a chance to read the VSiN Daily yet?
Yeah, came in at 3 a.m. What's Bill doing up that late?
Well, rumor has it starts off with a 12-hour meditation session.
Then he just pours himself over film and live TV, really focusing and taking it all in. Bill's in with the biggest insiders, talking trade secrets, strategies, the whole nine, absorbing the info.
And then and only then can the writing process begin.
In Las Vegas, Bill's late night becomes your early morning. Wake up to the very latest betting insights in your inbox with the VSiN Daily. Sign up for free at vsin.com/newsletter.
Responsible sports betting starts with a game plan. That means stick to a budget. Keep it social by playing with friends. Learn the game and know the odds. Play with trusted legal operators. And if you need help, reach out. If you're getting in on the action, visit haveagameplan.org to learn more.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
I will tell you this, people are fired up about Shaddur Sanders. I think what Kuiper was doing last night and also their opinions on him as a quarterback as well. They're coming in left and right. On X at VSiN Live at Mitch Moss Radio at Paulie Howard. Again, not drafted last night, first round. You said he was minus 2,500 to go at some point?
Yeah, first round, yeah. Just first round, right. And then you mentioned the minus 250 in December to go number one overall.
Oh, man. Plus 105 right now to be the 33rd pick tonight. Again, that number is changing, has changed like 5 times in the last 20 minutes. Browns are minus 125 to take him overall. This is from Michael. It bothers me that the guy who was not drafted is the story over other young men who were drafted. Can't we focus on them for one day at least?
Yeah, that's well said. And apparently they got right into it, even when the Titans were on the clock.
Okay, so again...
Which is weird.
Yeah, Luke was telling us that on one of the broadcasts last night, Titans are on the clock. Luke, look down. There's 8:25 to go, right, before they have to make their pick. And that's when they started shifting the talk already to Sanders. It's like, come on. It's completely forced. And other people are saying, I don't see it with him at all. Tripp says he played in the Big 12. 2 players from that league got selected in the first round. A quarterback putting up numbers in that league rarely translate other than Mahomes.
Mm-hmm. But that was the other story. 26 of the 32 guys selected were Big 12 or Big 10 or SEC.
Well, that's going to be common, I think, moving forward.
Yeah, I could see the guy being an absolute disaster in interviews. That I can see.
Yeah, sure.
And we don't do this, but, you also can't play the, confident black man, and they see it as arrogance and as other stuff that some people want to play that game. Well, Hunter is. Hunter's a confident, cocky guy. He goes number 2, so you can't play that game either. But I just want to know. I want to know the truth, and I want to know why this guy now, from top 5, top 10 player, is now going to go second, third round, or who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah,
That's what I want to get to the bottom. You just get, I don't want to, like Schefter said, I don't want to be in the Sanders business. Okay, why? Is this guy hitting on all the key points that this anonymous source that ripped him 2 days ago? Just elaborate, please.
Well, this is from Evan on X. I'll say it. He's not that good. Doesn't do anything well. Pretty average. Okay, that's fair. Again, you can have your opinion on that. I thought he.
Okay, that's fair too.
Yeah.
And I also I echo Mike Palm's sentiments. I can't get the Florida game out of my mind with Dart. Guy threw 3 interceptions in a minute in the biggest game of the season. They couldn't make the playoff. I thought the kid was terrible.
Right.
But to each his own.
I could also go back to last year and say Caleb Williams, plenty of times at USC.
Right.
You want to see
great call.
You want to see bad game film? Go watch the Notre Dame game.
Great call.
He looked like a
Awful.
4th round pick.
Totally.
He was completely lost in that game.
Crying and all that. Crying with his mom. Absolutely.
Sure.
I think it was a horrible moment 2 years ago for him as well when they beat a bad Arizona State team and he walks up to the student section. He's flashing his watch. It's like, who cares?
Right.
They're awful.
Yep. Other people are chiming in about the broadcast overall, and they said it just completely ruined it. They had to mute her to go to a different network because it was all about Sanders. That's unfortunate. This is from John. He remembers here. Didn't we have a Cleveland radio host on? Yeah, it was Tony Rizzo, who said Milroe to Cleveland because of Tommy Reese as the OC. Now 2 picks, 33 and 36.
Yes. Yes, he is. That move too. He is $3, 3-1 to go to Cleveland at DraftKings. I think that's in play.
Well, that's a good number because FanDuel's less than 2-1 on that.
Okay.
So that might be a consideration there.
Sanders now back up to minus 250 to go to the Raiders.
What?
Yeah. That just moved too. How about your guy?
Oh my God! Yeah, it did too.
Yeah,
right now, right in front of me,
move.
minus 210.
Yeah,
and now it's back to plus 105. What the hell's going on? Okay, sorry, I cut you off.
Where
there.
are you?
I'm on FanDuel.
Okay, I'm on DK. This will be interesting to check out. And then they got the Shuck hype too, which if he goes today.
Well, see, okay,
because you got Cleveland with a couple picks here, and you got what Pittsburgh will do, and you have the Raiders on the clock coming up at 37.
Now, can we all agree that if he goes ahead of Sanders, Shuck, at this point, he's going to be 26 years old? Are we getting carried away at that point?
Yeah.
Say all you want about Sanders if you don't like him off the field again. I'm not trying to sit here and tell you that I think the guy is going to be, an MVP any day. That's always a problem when guys come out of college and they've been in the, 7 years, a couple injuries, whatever it is. Shuck's case, going to be 26 years old. Who has once ever said, I got to take that guy. I don't care about his age. That never happens. It always comes into play. Can't touch him because he's going to be too old.
Yeah, we're in the twilight zone now if that happens and Milroe goes ahead of Sanders. Put the tape on. Come on. Watch the Michigan game, what Milroe failed to do. Yeah. And how bad he was, plus the small hands.
If you have a book or multiple books out there that will update the draft as picks are being made, just maybe keep this in mind that you might get a bunch of receivers that you want to bet on in the second round tonight. Daniel Jeremiah, he is one person who said that he believes that we're going to get an early run on wide receivers tonight. Burden, Higgins, I told you about that. Now minus 190 to go 34th overall. Noel, etc. There's also a really valuable group of edge guys that should fly off the board soon as well. That's from DJ. Now, here's a question for you, because books, of course, they immediately posted Rookie of the Year numbers. Odds are up for Offensive Rookie and Defensive Rookie of the Year. Should we just bet Travis Hunter to win both? He's 6-1 offense, and I saw 10-1 on defense.
That's not bad.
Just bet them both, and
10-1's pretty good.
And hope that he plays both, and then the voters won't they'll love that storyline and say, "Well, I got to give one of them the awards. I got to give one of them anyway."
Well, the snap count's going to be big. I mean, how many plays are you on offense and opposed to defense? No doubt.
I know you're going to grade all this stuff in win-lose.
Yeah.
Loveland going as the first tight end was at least a mild shocker.
Sure.
Because Warren was sitting there at $4 as a favorite to go number 1 overall. And again, the good doctor last night who we were watching it with, he had a big bet on Warren to go first overall. I'm like, I don't blame you. He's going to go for... Oh, no, he's not.
I know someone, too, who laid 380. Warren to go first tight end, minus 380.
Yeah.
I know. McMillan getting in the top 10 paid 4-1.
You know that the odds after our show ended yesterday at 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 o'clock Eastern time on McMillan to go 8 overall, they were sliding by the minute. I think by the time we got off the air, he was 3-1. And by the time I think the draft was into like pick number 5, he was minus 150 or even higher than that. That kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah. And the Packers finally do it.
I needed that one.
Finally go wide receiver in the first round. That paid as high as 6-1. How about Scatterbo? I think he'd be a good pro. I think New England's a good fit. He's 5-1 to be drafted by the Patriots. The Chiefs are plus 750.
Ooh, that's not bad.
So is Denver.
Denver wants a running back.
His range is all over the place too, but I think he's a beast.
So
I would love to have him on my team.
Yep, I have 3 bets pending for tonight, and I kind of need a Hail Mary here with at least one of these to hit. One would be Scatterbo under 120.5. I bet it at minus 115 here at Circa. The other 2 would be Sanders to the Steelers. Who the hell knows? I got that at 5-1. Now looks like a terrible number. And the other one, please, Sean McVay. Please. Take a tight end.
Yeah?
I'm begging you.
Okay.
I need that one to come in.
Well, I don't like, hey, let's give grades and do this immediately.
Right.
A lot of people gave the Falcons an F already.
Right.
That trade made no sense.
Oh, God, no.
What are you doing?
What are you
to move
doing?
up to 26 and then you do this, go the same with the edge rusher.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. That's Atlanta again.
Of course
it's
it is.
God. Oh, it's bananas. That's a hot dog stand.
I'll give you another one, too. Well, 2 more, at least here. Egbuka going 19 to the Buccaneers. I've seen people absolutely love it, and I've seen people absolutely hate it. Because now McMillan was coming on like a banshee last year. Guy was awesome as a rookie.
Right.
And now Godwin's going to come back from the injury. Mike Evans is still unstoppable. You got McMillan, and now Egbuka is going to be like the 4th guy. I don't think they needed that. And the other one, I've seen people completely praise the Chargers taking Hampton at number 22 overall.
Right, a lot of praise.
And other people said, what are you doing? You just got Najee Harris. Dumb pick. I'm like, I don't think it's that stupid. I think Harbaugh, that guy will probably work out perfectly for Harbaugh.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So,
since we were on it earlier, too, one other thing that didn't fit and didn't make any sense was we're hot and heavy. We're in the draft, all the excitement, and then let's pause and bring out Laura Rutledge and Colleen Wolfe to tell you, hey, May 14th, we're going to drop the schedule. And then you got Laura Rutledge reading off a cue card. And Colleen played it well about, all right, here we go. We got big matchups, all this. And the fans are like, okay, what? Can we get back to what a bizarre time to just say, hey, by the way, May 14th, we're going to drop the schedule. Okay, now back to the draft.
Yeah, well.
That didn't make any sense.
Right.
It
well,
was odd.
Let me expand on that for a second, because we now know the date here on this show and on this network that Derek Stevens, Mike Palm, and Jeff Benson will join us to tell us all their plans for the football contest this year. Put it in your calendar. It's May 22nd. I don't know what they're going to unveil. I have no idea.
There'll be some surprises because it's multiple segments, as I understand.
That, and they're bringing in Benson. So you know that Right, exactly
They're going
right.
to the bullpen.
Yes,
They're going
they
to
are.
the bullpen. Great time last night, as always. You can check social media for all the pictures. I got a great story coming up as well. Go all in at Circa Las Vegas. $400, the all-in package. 2 nights at Circa. $100 dining credit, $100 beverage credit, and your own day bed at Stadium Swim, where the party never stops with Taryn and Sydney. All for just $400. Limited time. Stay between May 26th and September 4th. Lock it in. The all-in summer package. CircaLasVegas.com. CircaLasVegas.com. Go all in.
Somebody knows something. Raiders again, back to minus 240 to take Sanders.
How about that?
Yep.
They would get the guy they want. Oh, man, at that spot.
Coming up, we'll discuss updated NBA and NHL numbers. They have the lead after 3 games, clearly been the best team and slightly higher than a pick'em.
To the Derby, playoffs to the draft. We have your summer covered with a VSiN Pro subscription for just $59 until August 1st. That means expert picks for every major event, exclusive betting splits from DraftKings and Circa, 24/7 video access on the VSiN Watch app, as well as betting guides for the Kentucky Derby and the NFL. Sign up now at VSiN.com/subscribe for just $59 and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
So along with the draft last night, you had all this action, baseball, and then the playoffs going on in the NHL and the NBA. Paul's going to have details on, I'm not kidding, one of the worst beats. Just file this away for the end of the year. It has to make the list of one of the worst beats in any sport. Took place last night. Also, the Thunder came back from down 29 after the Morant injury to win the game.
Mm-hmm. Second biggest comeback in playoff history, at least going back, since they've been keeping track of play-by-play era, mid-90s.
They're 15-point favorites in Game 4.
Yeah.
Morant's not going to play.
Yeah, jaw and crutches, and why play him anyways? That was nuts. And they were, a lot of people said take the 12.5 in play. They're going to come back, but to be down 29, and then you look up, wait, we got a game here. And then they made all the plays down the stretch, and they come back and win.
What was the highest number that we saw out there watching the game? Was it 6-1 in play? And they were getting absolutely buried in the second half.
Memphis couldn't miss, right?
And they were 6-1. It's like, wait, what?
Yep.
Not going to grab that, but
that's the other thing about these crazy props. There was a couple 50-1 props that cashed because you get these blowouts or games that are blowouts or a key injury, and anything can happen. And Pippen led the game in most threes. He was awesome.
Yep. Also, you saw what the Thunder are just so deep and they got something of everything. You saw what they were able to do last night defensively when Morant went out, and Alex Caruso was absolutely fantastic defensively. And then there's this from Royce Young and Tim McMahon.
Yeah.
The Grizzlies were 0 for 13 with Lou Dort as the closest defender in Game 3. That's the most field goal attempts defended without allowing a bucket in the playoffs since player tracking began back in 2013-2014. So when it matters most, they have a guy like that. Again, my whole thing about like defense in the NBA in 2025, the offense is so perimeter oriented that you need elite defenders out there. In OKC, they got a ton of guys who can do that. So like the next potential matchup here for this team after what the Clippers did to Denver last night, and I had Denver plus 5.5. Looking good, Charlie. Through about 8 minutes, you turn your head, you pay attention to the draft. What happened? They're down by 15. The Clippers are very good, but I just think that the Thunder have so many guys they can throw at Kawhi and Harden and Powell just to make it a nightmare for them.
Be a hell of a series, though. I told you about that home court advantage that they finally have. Crowd was great last night. And Denver has no depth, and Westbrook got hurt. He was 1 of 5 anyways, and then Porter's banged up too. So this maybe people are right that Clippers in 5 is going to happen. The 0-2 angle tonight, and this is going back to what Von Tobel talked about with the tax, but it won with Memphis yesterday, although they were lights out in the first half. Orlando trying to save their season, Milwaukee trying to save their season. Orlando getting 3.5 for the game, but they're 2.5 for the first half. Milwaukee laying at 5.5. They're 4.5 in the first half.
Oh, Paul, there are 5s out there, minus 120 for the first half.
But you watch, it's like, okay, Indiana's much the better team, and Free can still go off, and it doesn't matter. So can you trust Doc Rivers to make adjustments? Does he tinker with the starting lineup? But to be laying 4.5 in the first half, that goes back to your tax and why you were under 500 betting this stuff since 2021.
Yeah, I mean, if you really want to just like arb stuff and go for a middle shot, it's available again tonight. There you go. Again, like I just said, Bucks are 5 minus 120 at Caesars. That was a number earlier today anyway, and 3.5 at other spots. And in the other game, I mean, first quarter, first half for Boston, you could lay, money line, or they were minus 0.5 in the first half. FanDuel had plus 2.5 or minus 2.5 on the Celtics. Also for the first quarter, it was a pick 'em, but as high as 1.5. So you take you could play Boston money line and also grab Orlando plus 2.5, and if it falls right there, boom, you scoop the whole pot. Same thing with that Bucks game. I don't know. I think we get a version of what Memphis did last night against OKC in the first half with Milwaukee. I haven't bet it yet, but
yeah,
I do think that 0-2 angle is it's obviously cooked in there more than anything, but I kind of like them. I think it's going to be the others will play a little bit better tonight, and I think Giannis around 5-1 for a triple-double. Don't hate it. He's going to go scorched earth tonight.
Oh, wow. I mean, what his numbers have been going back. And 33.5 is his point prop tonight. Think about that. And I think he's minus $5 to have the most points, rebounds, and assists in the game as well, because he had 34 and 15 in the last game. The other one comes into play tomorrow to start the day. Cavs are down to 5.5, but Miami also, and I haven't seen a first half number on that too, but Miami also trying to save their season. The Knicks can't be 550 to win the series. Now, they did make the adjustments, and that's big tonight with what the Lakers are going to do, because it was too much Brunson and too much of the other guys standing around and foul hunting and complaining to the refs and taking all those shots. Towns was awesome. Bridges played well. OG, see, it was the first time since the 70s that a Knicks team had four guys scored 20-plus points in a playoff game. But it's still a 1-point game with 1 second left, right?
Well,
so still, I mean, it's and rightfully so. The Pistons are laying 2 on Sunday. Everything went the Knicks' way from the offensive standpoint and what they did. Yet Hardaway's having the game of his life. Beasley still can't find his shot. Cunningham not bad. We got a tight game. Big win for the Knicks, but they can't be this big a favorite because it's just evenly matched.
You know, every time you looked up, the Knicks had an 8-point lead. And then the Pistons came back to tie him up. And then the Knicks would expand it back to 9. And then the Pistons would be up by 2. You're like, what the hell's going on in this game? They could never, ever put them away. By the way, that completely flew over the total.
Yeah.
Is that another series here? The 2 in the East, maybe 3 in the East, actually, where you want to look at the overs? You've been doing that with the Heat and the Cavaliers. I think maybe Pistons Knicks could be like that as this could be a 7-game series.
Well, the story early on was all the unders. And I know hardcore NBA fans and guys who cover the sport were saying this is ridiculous. This is 2 different sports now. You can't completely change how you call the game from the regular season to what you're doing in the playoffs. And you had the numbers where no one's getting to the free throw line. They're swallowing the whistle, and it's been wrestling,
right?
What they're allowing here. So, and the big point there is what's happened, how the Rockets guarded Curry in Game 2. So if you're going to let these guys be physical and clutch and grab and hold and fight through these screens and grab Curry, that's a part of your handicap. But you have to decide what the officials are going to do, and you're not going to the free throw line, and it's going to be physical that you see, other than the Indiana series, these big difference in totals. The Laker game's down to 207.5. Right. I think we had 221 for Game 1.
Yeah.
What that opened at.
Yeah. And then what? Game 2 closed around 210.5, 211.
Yes.
Still went way under.
Yes.
Let me give you this. So FanDuel has taken a stand on their first half numbers for sure. You brought up the Heat Cavaliers game. Well, books have the Cavaliers at 1.5 for the first half.
Oh, wow.
1.5 for the first half. Totally baked into the 0-2 angle. FanDuel is showing 3.5. For the Thunder Grizzlies in Game 4, books have OKC -8. FanDuel says not 10.5.
Okay.
Also, now there's going to be various juice here, obviously. And the other game would be the Lakers and T-Wolves. They made it. They have 2.5 right now. Everybody else has 1.5. So they're just going to say, no, I don't care what the market says. We're making our own numbers on this. Last night, they again took a stand and they went 6.5 on the Grizzlies. I grabbed that. Happened to be a winner, but everybody else had 3.5 or so. Here's another one for tonight. Celtics Magic. I'm seeing pick first half at some spots right now. FanDuel has Celtics 2.5.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
But this one's tough as well because Boston's been so good on the road in the playoffs going back, and again without Tatum. But Orlando only has 2 guys that can score. So between Brown and White and Porzingis, they still have enough dudes and talent that this is they could still come out and bury him again. Because, again, Orlando also has the injuries that they had to deal with late in the season. They only have 2 guys that can score, which is great for props, too. Because you can't put the Paulo high enough, or also a Wagner.
That's right.
Because you got 2 guys that are scoring and taking all the shots for Orlando.
I'll give you another angle, and we'll do a bunch of props coming up in the second hour of the program. But for this Game 3, back in San Francisco for the Warriors and the Rockets, the recent box scores for the Warriors tell the story of how they're getting absolutely manhandled on the glass.
Yes.
It's an autoplay for me. Steven Adams and Sengun over their rebounds.
Okay.
And I'll have more numbers on that coming up a little bit later on in the show.
And that's down to 203.5 that they got the bad news on Jimmy Butler.
I don't think
a different team. And then they're allowed to be physical with Curry, and they're allowed to rough him up.
I don't think I can play that over.
Yeah. Edge Boost, first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions are approved. No usage fees. Card never declined. 100% approval all betting deposits. EdgeBoost.bet code FTM deposit 25. Edge Boost will match the deposit No longer waiting for those wires and paying the outrageous fees when you're over your limit and going to the cage. EdgeBoost.bet, code FTM.
The Wild now lead 2-1. To me, they have clearly been the best team in this series so far. They're minus 125 to win the series.
Yeah, might be a goaltending change coming.
And
back-to-back games, you allowed 5. That is alarming.
And VGK, again, pretty strong favorite here in Game 4.
Yeah, much like Colorado.
Mike Palm was yelling at us last night. I think he was being serious, too. Is it Wild in 5?
Yeah.
I think he loved them before the series started.
They're in a lot of trouble. They've had their asses kicked back-to-back games.
Yep. Win some, lose some is up next. Put this one on the list of worst beats for the entire year. Paulie with the details next.
In the heart of downtown Las Vegas, a sports oasis awaits. Stadium Swim, the ultimate outdoor amphitheater, built for the ultimate sports fan, with a colossal screen that brings the game closer than ever. Reserve a daybed, private cabana, or lounge in the center of it all. 6 pools to dive into as the game heats up. And the best part, there's never an off-season. Open 365 days a year. Stadium Swim, it's always spectator season.
Your favorite VSiN shows and personalities are now available to download as podcasts. Catch every hour of our live broadcast with VSiN Best Bets, or find your go-to show and download it directly. Get instant reactions to last night's games, sharp analysis on today's biggest matchups, and everything in between. Whether you're commuting, working out, or just catching up, VSiN lets you take the action with you wherever and whenever you want. Search VSiN on your favorite podcast platform and get in on the action with VSiN, the sports betting network. last night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they? Loser! You're a loser!
Paulie Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
All right, a couple of the draft props. Loveland first tight end plus 350, and a big surprise goes ahead of Warren. Packers to take a wide receiver 6-1. Genty to the Raiders plus 450.
Oh, I'm sure that changed.
Oh, I'm sure they were shocked that he was sitting there too. So I know Spy Tech talked about what his son wanted, and you got to take Genty, and they introduced him today, and Marcus Allen was out there, and Plunkett. But it's like, what? Big trade? Now it's Graham 5 and Genty falls to us, and the Bear trade never happened? Forget about the Carroll tweets.
They're going to come out of here with Sanders and Genty?
I wonder if the Brady thing really plays a role now. Where it's Brady saying, guys, take a quarterback now. I know Sanders. Trust me, he has the it factor, and he's $2 to go to the Raiders now. If really, we'll find out how much feedback and how much they listen to him, because I know they said that at the press conference. Carroll talked about the voice and what Brady says for input. So I think we'll find out tonight. The Leafs lead a series 3-0 for the first time since 2001. And the Wild are 31-0 when leading after 2 periods.
I'm already getting messages from our Canadian friends saying they're panicking about how the Maple Leafs are going to just set them up again. They're going to set up the entire fan base. Not this series necessarily. The hope is there. Expectations.
Defense
super hyped.
Good.
This is finally the year. And then, boom,
well, you're
pull the rug out.
Yeah, you're going to face Florida, likely. Had no problems.
Right.
They've allowed 2 goals in the series against Tampa. Most points in the Knicks game. Cat 5-1. Most threes, 20-1. Bane, he was a dead heat with Chet, but Bane was 25-1 most rebounds. Most threes, Pippen Jr. 50-1, Batum 50-1.
What?
Weird stuff happens in these blowouts. And again, a lot of books have this, not only for the series, but game leaders every single night. A lot of crazy stuff happened. How about Dr. John, who just... I got a gift for you. I go, okay, what is it? He throws me an autographed Randy Moss jersey, inscribed with the Hall of Fame year.
Yeah,
and what did you get?
He followed up with a Bart Starr signed jersey to me.
Unbelievable, this guy.
Like what?
Incredible. Thanks, Dr. John. That was awesome. Lose some. Sanders, $2 minus $250 in December to be the number 1 overall pick, minus 2,000 to go in the first round, less than a week ago. Graham over, 5.5, $1.50 to 8.5, minus 150.
Yep.
The trade changed everything, and 5 was the landing spot. Lose some. Goodell in the NFL. Goodell said today, we're going to play 3 games on Christmas every year now. You're not surprised.
No surprise. No.
And as Mike Florio said, don't be surprised. They're going to ban the tush push. Get ready for the vote on that.
How dumb.
And they're going to ban that one as well. The other thing, while all this stuff was going on, it was a fun night in sports, and you needed all these TVs. That is an embarrassment and cannot happen at the end of the Knicks game. They did the right thing. They're up 2 with 0.5 seconds. Brunson's going to miss the free throw on purpose because the Pistons don't have any timeouts. Well, the horn goes off after the missed free throw. No one grabs the ball, and then they say, Pistons ball. You still get 0.5 seconds. You get the ball, and then you can call a timeout and draw up a play. How is that not a do-over? And just say, no, he gets to shoot another one. That you just say, no time off the clock.
Agreed.
And that's crazy. As Thibodeau said, that cannot happen in a playoff game. And Kat said, craziest thing I've seen in a while, and that encourages the team with shenanigans. About it, just let the horn go off.
Sure. Yeah, they totally botched that, too.
Oh, that was terrible.
Yep.
And this is a big problem as well. We thought it was a problem, well, it is. In Major League Baseball, all year, like if you're in the Midwest, in Nebraska, you can't watch the Timberwolves, the Thunder, or the Denver Nuggets. On NBA TV, Brian Windhorst, ESPN, was unable to watch the Clipper-Denver game. Even though it's like an hour-and-a-half flight from where he lives to Denver, Nuggets games are blacked out. He couldn't watch.
Playoffs.
Playoff, too. He couldn't watch the game because
Yeah.
it's the first round still.
Yeah, well, I mean...
Oh, that's bad.
Paul, when we did mornings, I had the MLB package to watch day baseball, right? And then to watch the East Coast games. I have not bought the package in a couple years for baseball. Las Vegas is blacked out like 6 different teams. So there's a spot where, like, on any given night with West Coast teams playing, if it's, all the certain teams, I don't get any baseball games. What's the point of buying the package then?
Yep.
The same thing for Iowa people.
That's another one.
6 teams are blacked out from.
Here's what Mitch was talking about. Excuse me, I got to get to the videos. My fault. Subscribe, be part of the team, VSiN.com. Our radio and podcast friends, you always wanted to see these tweets and videos. Thanks for sending them in at Paulie Does Vegas on Instagram. This is an all-timer. The dog, forget about the couch. He ate the blinds. I've never seen this before. Usually you see cushions, sofas, whatever. The guy knocked the little French bulldog, went to war.
Oh, he's tiny.
With the blinds. Look at this. Gone. Gone.
A wrecking ball.
Oh. You're out a couple thousand right there. And the laziest game of fetch you're ever going to see. Look at, okay, going back. All right, you push it. All right, you push it back. Okay. The owner laying down on the ground next to the dog. Okay, you push the tennis ball back. Okay, I don't feel like doing this. Okay, I just want to take a nap. Grizzlies money line. Largest lead was 29. Second largest comeback since the play-by-play era, 95-96. OKC comes all the way back. Thanks to the Palm Raiders who sent this in. The Grizzlies team total was 108.5. It closed 109.5. It was 108-105 Memphis with 4:51 left. They didn't score the rest of the game. Impossible.
It really is.
Because it's a tight game, too. A fouling,
You're not going to get any, free throws, nothing.
I think they went 3 for 20 in the second half from 3 and had 13 turnovers, and Caruso was a stud.
Oh, he was so good.
Defensively. And also SGA points over. I think that was Robert who sent it in. He was 31.5. I think he was on 31 with 8 minutes left, and he missed a dunk.
Yeah, that's right.
And he took a lot of shots as well and couldn't get there. Want to bet smarter, not louder? Check out the Sharp Plays, sharpplays.com, where real bettors go to get ahead. Chasing steam, copying picks, recycling the same old value plays. They're not sharp, they're parrots. Sharp Plays is the source you want since 2011, locked in with the real pros are betting. Elite group, sharp money that moves markets. Insider info, powerful AI tools. You're not guessing, you're getting ahead. Sign up for free betting reports, real-time alerts, next-level intel via email or on X. Don't take anyone's word for it. Check the receipts. Full betting logs live on the site. Don't follow the crowd, lead it. Sharpplays.com. He's been with us since day one. The Sharp Plays and sharpplays.com. I got a great story last night, and I asked the same question to Taryn. It's Sydney last night that I asked to Taryn on air when we did the Masters. So you can put a picture up of the whole crew.
They work at Stadium Swim.
Yeah, the whole crew here at Stadium Swim. The best pool in the world. But I asked Sydney, and Sydney, who works here, was in the restaurant business, and someone told her, you really got to get in the pool scene. The amount of money you can make, it'll change your life, and you have the best body I've ever seen. And apparently everyone agrees. And she goes, what, really? In this heat? In the pool business? So she's talked about here and Encore Beach Club where she worked as well. At Encore, she was hired on the spot. I said, how did you get this job? She said, 15,000 women apply. They come in, you line up, you stand in line for 8 hours. You got your get up on, your high heels.
Right.
15,000. 2 women showed up last year from Australia. All over the world they come in to try to get this job. You get 30 seconds. After standing in line for 8 hours, 15,000 women apply. You get 30 seconds. What's your name? What's your experience? And tell us something unique or quirky about yourself. That's it. And bam! She was hired on the spot at Encore Beach Club a couple years ago.
Well, what did she say? Was she hired specifically for her looks?
Well, if you get 30 seconds, I would say that it's a big outcome.
I mean, what that person said to her about the best body they've ever seen, let's just say that Sydney is absolutely spectacular.
Yes. But that is also incredible where you get, 30 seconds, come in, get out, 15,000, you narrow it down to 2,000. From there you go down to 200, and it just
by the way, let me add this too about Sydney. So if you come out here and you do this, experience, get the cabana with us, or you go out there on your own as well, and you do it on a day where she's actually going to be working the cabana with you when you have it, she could point to scoreboard more than anybody I've ever seen. Michael Jordan. She could point to scoreboard at any time that she would want to any human being, and she doesn't. She's got an awesome personality.
Oh, she's great.
She's phenomenal.
Yes.
The total package.
Yeah. Another great story, too, she has, if we can we'll talk to her sometime about you need different gals that are working there as well, which the amount of money people spend on that as well. So you're right about that.
Let me ask you
no
this.
Doubt.
We all want value. We all want big tickets to cash, 10-1, 50-1, whatever it is. Are we going to be sitting here in 6 weeks saying, how the hell did we not just have gigantic tickets on the Thunder to win the NBA title? Is this Ohio State in college football?
I think the Clippers will be a tough series.
Oh, come on, Paul.
You're not. They were down 29, Mitch.
I don't care. That's one game. It was 1/2 plus.
Well, if the Celtics keep getting injured, that could be a
Look
cakewalk.
at Jimmy Butler. The Warriors would have no chance against them without Jimmy Butler.
Yep.
If something were to linger there.
Yeah. Well, yep. Lakers OKC could be good, and you might just say, well, it was a regular season, but that's the Lakers. First things first, the Lakers got to get there, but that would be in the conference finals.
We have a ton of best bets to get into in soccer next as the meat man, Steve Wisk, joins the program. It's Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
And we're out. Okay, give me 1 sec. I need to load funds into my game.